Hey everybody, and welcome back to the next video of our multiplayer game. So in this video, as we said, we're going to make the player able to move in 4 different directions. And actually guys, I was recording the video, but apparently I forgot to press the record button. So as you can see, I've already changed like a little bit of the room design, and also I've already like implemented this fader to the player. So I'm just gonna go over it really quickly. So here it is. All you need to do for the client is add like sending the key up and down. The same thing we did with the right and left keys. So we're just gonna have to like create these macros in the OBJ player. So in the OBJ player, in the create event, you're just gonna add these 2 macros and make sure to like set them to false at the game start. I've also changed the walking speed to 2 instead of 4 and added the vertical speed. Now with the vertical speed, we're gonna do you want to do the same thing with vertical speed, except we're gonna change this to down and up. And this is like the simple collision stuff for like the walls, because if you remember from the previous tutorial, I've added like a separate layer for the solid objects, which is supposed to be like well, under the okay, I can't, well, it's black so you can't see it, but let me just grab it on top of the walls so you can see it. So it is like the solid objects instances. Okay, let me put it back in here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna run the game to show you what's happening. So again, these are all like the changes that I've done. Alright, so here's like the code if you want to copy it. This is like pretty simple collision stuff. Same thing that we did with the horizontal speed. And make sure to add this variable vertical speed, set these to false at the game start, create the macros, and send the keys from the client. That's pretty much it. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a name, create a game, allow access, and select the character. So here's my character. I can move up and down, left, right, doesn't really matter. So the collision is working just fine. Alright. So this is getting rendered from the entity, right? So let's go ahead and like do some quick stuff with it. So we're just gonna say here if x is greater than previous x, x previous, sorry, then image x scale equals 1, right? Also, let's copy this. If x is less than, make sure it's less, not less or equals, then it's gonna be -1. Alright, that's it. And okay, so this is like for the x and y scale, sorry, the x scale. So we can see if we're like facing the left or the right direction. Now what we're gonna do is we want to like zoom in a little bit so we can see like our character a little bit better. So what we're gonna do is we need to go to the views in here. So go ahead to your room game. Let's go to viewports and cameras, enable views. So enable viewport, and let's go ahead to viewport 0. I'm sorry, viewport 0. Let's set it to visible. Okay, so as you can see, it is visible for now. And so for the width, we're gonna go with 320. I'm sorry, 320 by 240. So pretty much half the size of our room. Okay, and so the viewport property is gonna be 640 by 480. 640 by 40. So it's gonna have like the same size for like the room, except that it's gonna zoom in better. Now we only need to like know the target, and we're gonna do that by okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send a request to the server asking for our player. So basically, let's copy the same thing from here, paste it in our new script, except we're gonna change this to something like my ID. Okay, alright, and change this to like send my ID or something. Let's go ahead and go to server, obj server. Okay, so here, macro, if I get my ID, it's gonna be 6, and well, let's decipher it here. So case, okay, we need to do it here. So case packet my ID. We're just gonna send the player his ID. That's pretty much it. And we're gonna send it the socket ID, and we're gonna assign it to the player. So okay, let's do this. So what are we gonna do? In here, we need to make another script actually. So from server to client, let's duplicate one of these. Well, let's actually duplicate this. It's gonna be much easier. It's gonna be send player ID. Okay, now we're gonna change this to my ID. It doesn't really matter, we can use like the same thing here, except that we need to write one more thing here, which is gonna be buffer u. I think u8 should be fine. Yeah, we can do it with u8. So argument 0. Alright, now we need to go back to the server, and in here we want to send the player ID. Send player ID to our socket, and the ID is gonna be socket. Okay, that's pretty much it. And what's happening here? Send player ID. Oh yeah, of course. This needs to be 1. Okay, why is it not? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, let's go back to the client, and in here we're going to do the same thing basically. So case packet my ID, and we're gonna say my ID, which is a variable that we're going to create. My ID equals buffer read buffer u8. Okay, so now we need to actually go to the player, okay, and create this variable my ID equals -1 at the game start. Okay, and we need to create the same variable in here in the client create event. So I'm gonna also say my ID equals -1, and so when the server send this, or when we create a game object, so a player, we need to send, or to set, sorry, the ID to it, which is gonna be in here. So after we create it, we're gonna say p dot my ID equals socket. Also, we need to send it to every other client. So we're gonna add another command, my ID, and it's gonna be command my ID. Okay, so we need to modify this script. So we need to add one more macro command here, so my ID. Okay, this is gonna be 5. Okay, so command my ID. We need to add another switch statement. So, and this, okay, this is gonna be my ID. Oops. Alright, so buffer u8 should be fine. Now we need to go to the client as well, and gonna do the same thing. So this should be my ID, and we're gonna say p dot my ID equals buffer read buffer u8. Okay, now as long as I know, I think we need to like send this when we Okay, hold on a second. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Okay. So now what do we need to do? We need to loop through every object, player object, sorry. So in the client step event, we're going to loop through every client, loop through every client's object, and check if it has the same ID as ours. So if it's ours, then we're gonna want to follow it with the camera. So what are we gonna do here? So we're gonna create a for loop. So for var I equals 0, I is less than instance number obj remote entity, right? I plus plus. So we're gonna say if my ID equals, well, we need to create var e equals instance find obj remote entity I. Okay, so if my ID equals e dot my ID, my ID, then in this case this is our target. Okay, so target equals e. Now let's go ahead and create this variable. So target or my player, it doesn't really matter what you name it. I might type in. Okay, what's happening here? Okay, it looks like it's freezing. Okay, I think we're good now. Target equals no one at first. Okay, so yeah. Now in the step event, we're gonna check if we have a target. So if target not equals no one, then what do you want to do here? We want view so view export 0. Oh, sorry, export equals target dot x. Okay, same thing with the y. And well, obviously this needs to be minus view w port 0 divided by 2. Same thing here, except it's gonna be minus view h port divided by 2. So this is just like to keep it centered, all right? And keep in mind that I also created a mask for, should have said that earlier, mask for the player. It's 16 by 16 pixels by, it's bottom centered, and I've set it as a mask for the OBJ player. I should have said that earlier, but okay. Alright, back to the client. So as long as we have a target, we're gonna follow it. So let's go ahead and see if everything's working fine. Okay. So again, we have send my ID script. So we're asking. Oh no, wait. So we're actually never asking for the ID. So actually, let's stop that. And in the create event, after we connect, we also need to like send this actually. So send my ID or client server. Yeah, send my ID, because we're never sending this request. Okay. So keep. Okay. I'm just gonna pause the video and see what's going on. Hi everybody and welcome back. So it turns out that GameMaker has already a function that does what we wanted to do, which is camera set view target. So we just pick here the camera that we want to set, the camera itself, and the target that's want to follow. Now I've already set the border as well, so that I wanted the character to be centered. So yeah, I wasn't really aware of this function, but yeah. So here's the result. So the camera is working fine, but as you can see, we still have like a little problem with the text here, since we're drawing it in the GUI of the, what is it, the remote entity, right? So for now, as a quick fix, we can do something like x times 2y times 2 and minus 32, and it should be fine, but we're gonna fix it in a more efficient way in the next video. But yeah, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this video, and well, let's just wait for it to compile and see if it's gonna work or not. But yeah, as a recap, so basically we have a mask for our player, which is 16 by 16. Make sure to put it for as a mask for the player. Now for the player, well, let's just see if it's gonna work. Create game. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. You know what, we'll fix this in the next video. It doesn't really matter. So at least we get it to work, to follow our character. Let's actually make sure by create another instance and see if it's gonna follow it. Okay. And we're gonna, oh, I didn't pick a name, whatever. So as you can see, the wizard is picked. All right. Oh, and look at that. Would you look at that? We have a problem actually. We're following the same character. Okay, we have a problem. Alright, let's see what's going on. Hey everybody, welcome back again. So I finally got it to work. So as you can see, each client has his own player now that is following, and pretty much all I did was where is it? So for the remote entity, I created my ID variable. Also for the client, when we find a target, we need to add a break in here. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Also, I've noticed that we need to actually when we destroy, or when a client leaves the room, we actually need to destroy that object. So in here, I'm gonna quickly go to the server, and when someone disconnects, which is in here, okay, so we're gonna need to look for every socket there is and tell him to destroy this client. So send a destroy request. So this is pretty simple. I'm just gonna grab this and paste it in here. So except that this time we're sending send remote entity cmd destroy, and here we're just gonna paste in 0. And so here's how are we gonna grab P. Okay, so we need to actually do it before destroying the player, so make sure to do it here before we execute this command. Okay, so we send the request here. So here's like a final run for the game. I'm gonna run the game again, and oh, also just to avoid any circumstances, I've changed here my ID to equals -2 instead of -1. Just to like avoid some errors when we like if two players spawn at the same time, and yeah. Alright, so let's just wait out for it to run. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna run 2 instances of the game, and this is gonna be player 1. Okay, create game. So I have like a player here, and I'm gonna join the game from here. Okay, so now I'm gonna leave the game, and we should see this player getting destroyed. And exactly, so that's pretty much it for today, guys. Now in the next video we're gonna be adding maybe a chat system, maybe some combat, some monsters. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, that was it for today, guys. I hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.